We talk about strategic theft on this channel. We talk about how the criminals are getting smarter. But what I'm about to share with you is next level. Imagine receiving an order from a massive global engineering firm. We're talking about $1 billion company. They send you the W-9, they send you the credit references. Their LinkedIn profiles look real, their websites look real. So you ship the load, and then poof. $200,000 worth of freight vanishes into a storage unit in Baltimore. This just happened to a small business in San Francisco, and it exposes a massive theft by deception ring that is operating right on the East Coast. According to a new report from FreightWaves, a sophisticated fraud ring impersonated the engineering giant AECOM to steal nearly $200,000 in high-end tile and flooring. On this video, I'm breaking down exactly how they did it. I'm going to show you the social engineering, the fake paperwork, and the fake logistics companies they used. And I'm going to tell you how the victim, a small business owner, had to hire her own private investigator to crack the case when the authorities dragged their feet. And most importantly, I'm going to give you a nuclear vetting protocol to stop this from happening to you. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Marcellus with Trucking with MBR. Now, the game has changed. It used to be that cargo theft was a guy with bolt cutters at a truck stop in Memphis. Now, it's a guy behind a keyboard with an AI voice changer and a Photoshop license. Here's the story of Galleria Tile, a small woman-owned business in San Francisco. The owner, Claudia Visona, received a rush order for 25,000 square feet of porcelain tile. The buyer claimed to be a purchasing manager for AECOM. Now, if you are a carrier or a shipper, getting a contract with AECOM is a dream. They are huge. Everything checked out. The scammers have built a complete digital mirage. They have fake W-9s, they have fake credit references, they have fake LinkedIn profiles that match real employees at the real company. They requested net 30 terms, which is standard for big companies. So Claudia shipped the load to a project site in Baltimore. But here is the first red flag. The project site wasn't a construction zone. It was a public storage facility. But the scammers were smart. When Claudia got suspicious, she hired a private investigator in Maryland. The PI went to the site and actually saw the trucks delivering the freight. The drivers even told the PI, "Yeah, we are hauling for AECOM." The scammers had tricked the drivers too. They used fake logistics companies to hire real trucks to move the stolen goods. They didn't stop there. They placed a second order for 41,000 square feet of luxury vinyl plank. They promised to pay both invoices once the second load arrived. It wasn't until Claudia called the contact number and realized the voice on the phone, it didn't match the person on LinkedIn, and that's when the house of cards fell apart. But by then, $174,000 in product was gone. Now, I want to stop right here and explain how they built this fake identity, because this is the part that's going to scare you. The report mentions synthetic identities. What does that mean? It means that they didn't just steal somebody's credit card, they created a person who doesn't exist but has a real credit history. They start with a social security number, usually from a child or someone deceased. They apply for a small credit card, they pay it off. They apply for a utility bill, they pay it off. Over 2 or 3 years, they build a real credit score for a fake person. So when Claudia at the Galleria Tile ran a credit check, it came back clean. That is the trap. The data says green light, but the person is a ghost. And let's talk about the phone calls. The report says that they use AI voice changers. We are at the point now where I can take a 3-second clip of your voice from a YouTube video, feed it to an AI tool, and have a phone conversation with your bank sounding exactly like you. These scammers likely scraped the voice of a real AECOM executive from a webinar or a podcast. When the victim called to verify the order, she wasn't talking to a nervous guy in the basement. She was talking to an AI that sounded like a sophisticated corporate buyer. This is why voice verification is dead. You cannot trust your ears anymore. So how do you actually stop this? I want to give you my 3-step nuclear vetting protocol. This is what you need to do for every new customer, no matter how big they are. Step 1 is the Google Maps flyover. Before you sign the rate confirmation, put the pickup and delivery address into Google Earth. Look at the street view. Is the delivery address a construction site, or is it a public storage unit next to a Taco Bell? Is the pickup address a known warehouse, or is it an abandoned lot? If the address looks sketchy, the load is sketchy. Step 2 is the corporate switchboard rule. Never call the phone number in the email signature. Never. If the email says call John Smith at 555-0199, ignore it. Go to the official corporate website, find their main headquarter number, call the switchboard and say, I need to speak to John Smith in purchasing. If the operator says we don't have a John Smith, hang up, you just saved your truck. If they transfer you and the real John Smith answers and says, I didn't order any tile, you just saved your truck. Step 3, this is the email domain check. This is the most common one. The real company is at acom.com. The scammer registers at https or at acom-shipping.net. It looks real at a glance, but if you hover over the link, it's a fake domain registered 3 days ago. Use a tool like holes.com. Type in the domain name. If it says created 3 days ago, run away. The reason I'm spending so much time on this is because the insurance companies are starting to deny these claims. They are calling it voluntary parting. Because you gave the freight to the thief, the insurance company argues it wasn't stolen. You voluntarily handed it over. That means if you fall for this scam, your insurance pays $0. You are on the hook for the full $200,000 claim. That is a bankruptcy level event for 99% of the carriers watching this video. This is called theft by deception. And according to the security firm Overhaul, cargo theft was up 29% in Q3 of 2025. Why? Because it's easier to steal freight with a laptop than with a gun. Here is the wildest part of this story. Claudia called the San Francisco police. She called the FTC. She called ICE. Nobody helped. She had to do the investigation herself. Her private investigator tracked the license plates. They found the guys receiving the stolen goods. And finally, after another victim called 911 in Baltimore, the FBI got involved. It turns out this wasn't a one-time thing. It was a massive ring involving hundreds of victims and millions of dollars in stolen appliances, generators, and construction materials. This connects back to everything we've been talking about with the trucking reset. The market is full of fraud because for too long it was too easy to be a fake entity. We have fake carriers, we have fake brokers, and now we have fake shippers. The reason we need the vetting crackdown, the reason we need to get rid of the ghost carriers is because they are the infrastructure that makes these scams possible. If you are tired of wondering if the load you are hauling is real, if you are tired of wondering if the broker is going to double broker your load, you need to get out of the Wild West spot market. You need to get into Final Mile. In Final Mile, you know your shipper, you go to the same warehouse every day, you know the manager's face. You aren't booking freight from a random email address. I have the list of legitimate companies hiring contractors right now in my Final Mile contract plug pack. Protect your business, work with the real people. The link is in the description box below. Now, this is a wake-up call. The owner of Galleria Tile said, I don't trust anyone anymore. It shattered my view of how these systems work. Don't let that happen to you. Verify everything, even if it looks like it's coming from a Fortune 500 company. Let me know in the comments, have you ever had a shipper try to change the address on you mid-transit? Did it turn out to be a scam? Smash that like button to help spread this warning. Subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you know when I drop another video. Also, check out the video below where I talk about the end of the cheater ELD log. In this video, I break down the pre-publication vetting rule and the impact of the 308 devices that have already been revoked. Once again, this is Marcellus with Trucking with MBR. I'll see you on the next video.